Welcome to Tea Time on Time Warner Cable Sports. I'm Doug Landstrom, your host. I'm also a golf historian. Today we're at the historic Country Club of Troy, built in 1925 on a beautiful piece of land, a terrific golf course, and with magnificent views and a great clubhouse. Also on today's shows, we'll have Derek Sprague. He's the National Secretary of the PGA, and he's going to talk about the PGA's plans to grow the game of golf. Of course, we'll have our History Minute, our Mystery Minute, and our Golf Term. We'll also have the Tip and the Rule by the pros. But first, the Country Club of Troy was designed by Walter Travis. He was famous for undulating greens. I had an opportunity to sit down with Chris Strong, the superintendent at Troy, and he's going to describe those greens for us.
The undulations on this particular green, there's what our members call a tub, which is a nice way to describe it because it looks like a bathtub behind us. And there's 2.5 feet of elevation from the front plateau to the bottom of that tub, and then there's a little less from the bottom of that tub to the top of the back plateau. So the green is constructed where the front right corner is a little bit higher than the back right corner. It's pretty interesting until you get all the way to the back right corner. Then they even out a little bit. But managing an undulation like that, you really have to understand the break that's involved in that. And if you don't hit the ball hard enough, you're going to end up back in there. If you have to putt through the entire undulation, you'll end up back in there. One of the great things, features about the green complexes at the Country Club of Troy is you can't just expect that if you miss the green, you're going to be chipping with a sand wedge. You can be chipping with a 6-iron or a 7, bump and run, which is what I love about our green complexes. It really brings back those throwback shots that you don't see every day. Even on tour, all the young kids are whipping out 56 and 60-degree sand wedges and lobbing it back to the cup, and they can hit that shot. The average player at the average private club can't, and we're trying to bring that back into the game here. And it's a perfect example of what we're trying to do with this particular complex.
I once spent a whole afternoon in the tub. We're here on the 7th green. Country Club of Troy is famous for chocolate drops. Bet you never thought there were chocolate drops on a golf course, but they're here. Chris, tell us about them.
Well, these particular chocolate drops were placed here by Walter Travis because you cannot see the green from your approach shot. So he put these 2 mounds in the back so that you have some visual, some depth perception as to where the green is. The other purpose that they serve is to hide the spoils of construction, which is stones. There's piles of stones throughout our property that bunkers are built on, green complexes are built on, chocolate drops are built on, and what that does is that hides the stones that they unearthed during construction.
I like the way they frame the green.
They really do frame the green nicely. In all cases, or in most cases here at the Country Club of Troy, they're maintained at a rough mowing height, but we have a few that we maintain at a chipping area height that are actually integral parts of the complex. On the front right corner of this green, there's a small chocolate drop, and that's actually an integral part of the chipping area.
Now, the only thing I don't like is when I'm on them.
Yeah, it makes for difficult stances.
It makes a tough chip from there.
Yes,
Chris,
it does.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Country Club of Troy is a private club started in 1925. Has many amenities for its members. Besides the golf, it has pool, it has tennis, lots of other activities. Had a chance to sit down and talk with Greg Mardigian about those amenities and this magnificent clubhouse.
The Troy Country Club is pretty unique, differs from all the other clubs in the area in that it was built in 1925. And as I've seen some of the other clubs around the area, they're a little bit more modern. This club has a uniqueness to it. When I walk through it and when I walk people through it, their eyes light up because it is such a historic building. It's gone through some minor renovations throughout the decades, but for the most part, the structures remained intact.
Now, the banquet room has an upside-down boat in it.
Yes, it does. And that's one of the things that it's a nice selling point for brides and for people that are holding events when you bring them into that room, the high cathedral ceilings. We have a lot of different types of function rooms that lay within the clubhouse, but when they go into that room, that's the one that catches their eye the most.
Now, certainly you have a tremendous golf course designed by one of the great architects of the 1920s, but tell us about the other amenities of the club.
Sure. Yeah, well, you did mention Walter Travis, so I have to say one of the rooms in the clubhouse is named Walter Travis. And we also offer different types of dining rooms and different types of cuisines. Our chef, Greg Cook, makes everything from casual pub-style food to sophisticated gourmet food. And our dining rooms are such that as well. We have pub-type atmospheres, we have formal dining rooms with white tablecloths, and we have a beautiful porch that's probably the crown jewel of the club that overlooks the 18th hole.
Now, this is a great place. Tell us about the memberships.
Sure. Unlike some of the other clubs in the area where you have to pay one set price for membership, here at the Country Club of Troy, we're able to offer a different level of membership. Obviously golf is the driving force here, so we do offer, full family or individual memberships that are associated with golf and all of the amenities of the club. We also offer a gorgeous swimming pool and 4 red clay tennis courts as well. So we do offer tennis and pool memberships, golf memberships, and social memberships as well for people that just want to utilize the clubhouse for dining.
Yeah, I've played tennis here. I played golf here many times. I've played tennis here, and both of those facilities are terrific.
They definitely are. We actually are offering a seasonal tennis membership too this year, which a lot of clubs do not do. And so, tennis players can come over. They can get the use of these gorgeous courts and our dining facilities for a very reasonable rate for 6 months out of the year.
I play in the Troy Invitational here every year, and it's just a terrific event with everything is just done first class. It's really a pleasure to come here.
The staff here is second to none, starting with our golf pro, Mike Cusera, to our ground superintendent, Chris Strong. I mean, I've been just so impressed with the level of professionalism and how everybody works as a team. And that's the really the deciding factor to a successful club. And it starts at the top and it, rolls right down to all the employees.
Greg, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Our featured course this week on Tea Time is the Country Club of Troy. So we thought we'd do our History Minute about the rich history of this club. Started in 1925, the members got together and raised $250,000. They wanted to hire the very best architect, so they hired Walter Travis, and he was one of the best. Not only was a great designer, but he was a good golfer. He won the U.S. Amateur 3 times. He won the British Amateur with the Schenectady putter. Of course, then the British banned it because they thought that was an unfair putter. Course opened in 1927. Unfortunately, Travis died before he saw the grand opening. You've got to remember, this course was started during the Roaring '20s and did well. Then came the Depression of the 1930s. Many courses closed, but Troy stayed open. They actually had 322 members, which was spectacular for that time. By 1950, they were debt-free. In the year 2000, they had their 75th anniversary, and they had assets over $2.5 million. This was a bargain. If you joined in 1925, the initiation fee was $200. Caddy fee for 18 holes was $1.10. The extra 10 cents went into a caddy pool to reward the best caddies. The original land, 170 acres, was purchased from a cemetery. Ed Schultz was the head pro for 40 years. He shot a scratch 63, which still is the course record. During Prohibition, the members brought in their own spirits because the club couldn't sell them. Course is famous for chocolate drops. These were mounds of stone covered by dirt used to frame the greens. 1984, a master plan was developed by Jeffrey Cornish. I love Jeffrey's work, and it shows here. It's actually very good. There's an old expression, all roads lead to Rome. Well, in Troy, it has 2 roads leading to the Country Club of Troy. So in Troy, all roads lead to the Troy Country Club. They're looking forward to their 100th anniversary in the year 2025.
Tea Time on Time Warner Cable Sports is brought to you by Wells Fargo Advisors. Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Hi, I'm Dan Cardella, the assistant golf professional here at the Country Club of Troy. I'm here to bring you the Tea Time tip of the week. Basically what I'm going to be going over is the proper way to be striking your iron shots. One of the most common misconceptions about the golf swing is in order to get the golf ball up into the air, you would have to actually get the golf club as quickly underneath the golf ball as possible. The problem with that is that brings into play your fat shots and your thin shots, and most importantly, what that actually results in is a lack of spin. So in correcting that flaw, what you're actually going to be doing is coming down at the back of the golf ball in order to get the golf ball up in the air. That is the only way that you're going to be able to impart spin on a golf ball. One of the most important factors of this swing is that as you are coming down at the back of the golf ball, the goal is not to get the golf club still underneath the golf ball, because that would result in a flip. And what you actually want to be doing is attacking the back of the golf ball while keeping your hands and the golf club as low as possible. Now, this goes against what you might think is appropriate for this type of shot in order to get a golf ball in the air. Coming down at the back of the golf ball and keeping your hands as low as possible actually results in a higher ball flight.
This week's term is the duck hook. What is it, and how did it get its name? First, you got to remember there are 4 shots in golf that go left. Some of these you don't want. All right, the first is the pull hook. This is something that starts left and goes further left. Very poor shot. Don't have it in your bag. Next is the hook. The hook starts right and turns fairly sharply to the left. Has some advantages. You get more distance, but basically it's to escape trouble, to hit around trees. It's a shot you want in your bag, but you don't want to use it on a regular basis. What you want is the draw. This is a gentle, controlled hook. Starts right of the target, curves back either to the middle of the fairway or on the green. This is a great shot to have. The first reference to a draw is 1842. Now we look at the duck hook. First reference to duck hook in golf literature is 1848. Originally it was called just the duck, but now it's called either a snap hook, a snapper, or a quacker. The quacker is not from the bird. We do not get duck hook from the duck bird or its neck. Nor does it come from the crowd having to duck. Many people felt this is a low screaming hook into the crowd and the crowd better duck. That's not its origin. Its origin really goes all the way back to the gutta percha. That was a ball made out of sap. When you hit it, it was very erratic. And so it ducked and it darted. And that's where the name duck comes from. But no matter what, you don't want the duck hook.